Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, sometimes you find a task, something that seems, well, incredibly straightforward,
Hmm.
like just, reading something aloud. But then you kind of peek under the hood
Mm.
and you find this whole fascinating world of hidden mechanics and these subtle little rules.
Right.
And that's exactly where we're headed today.
Sounds interesting.
We're doing a deep dive into a very specific, but honestly really important bit of the Duolingo English test, Task 5, often just called read aloud.
Ah, yes, that one.
So our mission here really is to take some key bits from a read aloud guide for this task and pull out the most useful nuggets. We want you to know exactly what this task involves, how it's graded, that's key, and crucially, how to really nail it. It's fundamentally about speaking clearly, effectively.
And it's true. Understanding let's say, the mechanics of a specific task like this, it can actually give you some pretty big insights.
Into more than just the test.
Yeah, absolutely. Into language proficiency itself. You
Yeah.
know, it's less about just jumping through some hoop for the test.
Yeah.
And more about refining how you communicate clearly and, well, naturally.
Okay, so let's start peeling back that first layer then. What exactly is this read aloud task on Duolingo? I mean, on the surface, it just sounds so simple, doesn't it?
It does.
Just read the words on the screen.
Hmm.
But I bet people trip up thinking it's just reading. What are those initial mistakes?
You're right. It looks simple. The actual process is very direct. You click a record button. Then you read a sentence that pops up on the screen into your microphone. Simple as that.
Yep.
And you only get 20 seconds for each sentence.
20 seconds. Wow.
Yeah. And the biggest pitfall, like you said, is maybe underestimating the how. It's not just seeing the words correctly. It's really about the delivery.
20 seconds. That's not a lot of time to get settled, is it?
No, it goes fast.
So what's the guide's first tip once that sentence appears?
Well, if you actually have a moment within those 20 seconds, the guide really suggests saying the sentence out loud once before you hit record.
Oh, like a practice run.
Exactly. Kind of a quick mental and vocal warm-up, just to make sure you're, set to go.
Right, okay. And here's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? Because you're not just reading for a human judge here.
Oh.
We're talking about an algorithm.
That's the absolute critical piece of information here.
Yeah.
It's graded by an algorithm.
So this task, it's not just what you read, it's profoundly about how you read it for this machine.
Precisely. And because a machine is, well, listening, your delivery matters in a very specific way. You must speak at what the guide calls an even tempo.
Even tempo. Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It means you shouldn't speed up dramatically and then slow right down. Consistency is key.
Oh, I see.
Think of it like setting a metronome for your voice. Any sudden jumps or drops in speed, that can really throw the algorithm off. You might get penalized not for the words themselves, but just for that inconsistent delivery.
So the algorithm is sort of pattern matching?
Sort of, yeah. It's designed to recognize predictable patterns in speech. If your tempo is all over the place, it can actually misunderstand your pronunciation or fluency, which obviously leads to a lower score.
So it's not about being fast or being slow necessarily, but about being consistent, like giving the algorithm a clear signal.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Think of it like a sensitive microphone. If you talk into it with wildly varying volume or speed, the recording gets messy.
Right.
The algorithm needs that clean, predictable input to accurately assess you. Give the machine the cleanest signal possible.
That makes a lot of sense. And for anyone listening who wants to actually hear what that sounds like, that even tempo, the guide mentions a resource, right? mjseducation.com.
Yes, exactly. It suggests checking out mjeducation.com. You can, I think, type in Duolingo there and find some real-time examples of how to read for this task.
That's super helpful, a concrete example to listen to.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've established the importance of that steady, even tempo for the algorithm. But what about the sentences themselves? I mean, do they get harder? Does the guide talk about different levels of challenge?
Oh, absolutely. They're definitely not all the same difficulty. The source material lays out 3 quite distinct levels.
Yeah.
And they build on each other. Longer, more complex language as you go up.
Okay, walk us through them. Level 1.
Level 1 is the baseline. Pretty simple stuff, usually short sentences or maybe short questions. An example given is something like, do you like my car? Very straightforward.
Got it. Short and sweet. Then level 2.
Level 2, things get a little longer. The sentences or questions might stretch out a bit. You'll start seeing things like noun clauses, maybe, those that or what kind of clauses.
Okay.
And maybe a couple of words with 3 syllables or so.
Right.
The guide gives examples like, She sometimes works at the library on the weekends.
Mm.
Or, uh, my girlfriend said she would wait at the bookstore for me.
Mm.
And another one. She is certain that our instructor will give extra marks. A little more substance there.
Yeah, you can see the step up. And level 3 sounds like it could get tricky.
Level 3 is definitely the most challenging. These are often longer sentences, usually compound sentences.
So like 2 full ideas joined together.
Exactly. Multiple independent clauses. You might also see more perfect verb tenses, things like will have returned or had been corrected, and definitely more multi-syllable words.
Okay.
The guide also notes that passive voice might pop up here too.
Ah, where the object comes first, like the ball was thrown by.
Precisely, which can sometimes require a bit more mental processing as you read.
Any examples of level 3?
Sure. One is, I do not know what the movie's about or who the leading actors are. See? 2 parts there.
Mm-hmm.
A more complex one. She will have returned from Japan and started her new job when you have permission to relocate. Lots going on there. And they can even get quite technical sounding, like cartological and azimuth readings are corrected, and the atmospheric tests are done as well.
Wow, okay. That's quite a jump from do you like my car?
It really is. It tests your ability to handle more complex structures smoothly.
Which brings up another point, right? It's not just saying the words, even complex ones. It's about sounding natural.
Yes.
And that often involves intonation. How does, the rise and fall of our voice fit into this, especially with questions?
Intonation is absolutely key for sounding natural and conveying the right meaning. The guide breaks this down. For yes-no questions, the ones you can answer with a simple yes or no, your intonation should generally rise towards the end.
Why is that?
Yeah, rise up to the question mark at the end of the phrase, like that earlier example. Do you like or in my car? You hear that lift.
I do, yeah.
And it helps to remember, yes-no questions pretty much always start with a verb or a modal verb, like should, could, would. That's your cue for rising intonation.
Okay, makes sense. What about other types of questions, like where questions?
For where or information questions, what, where, when, who, why, how good, English speakers tend to let their intonation fall at the end.
Fall down.
Fall down, yeah. Like, what is your name? Hear the drop.
Mm-hmm.
So the guide just says, be wary of the question form if one comes up. Pay attention to whether it's yes, no, or why.
Got it. Rise for yes, no, fall for why. What about regular statements?
That's actually simpler. For many, probably most of the statements you'll read in this task, there isn't really any special intonation needed. They're generally read, let's say, fairly neutrally or flat, without a big rise or fall at the very end.
Just straight delivery.
Pretty much. Examples given are like, we do not have gym class today, or he likes to ride his bicycle. Just read them in a normal, informative kind of tone.
Okay, so we've gone through the mechanics, the even tempo for the algorithm, the different levels of sentence complexity, and now these intonation nuances, bringing it all together. What does this mean for you, the listener, prepping for this? What's the main takeaway?
Well, the core things really remain the same. You absolutely have to know to speak clearly. That's foundational. And at that even pace we talked about, that's critical for the algorithm.
Right.
Beyond that, the guide's overarching advice is actually quite simple. Read most sentences in a sort of regular or normal way, almost like you're just answering a question in a classroom or chatting with a new friend.
Don't overthink it too much.
Exactly. Aim for a natural, clear, understandable delivery. That's what the algorithm is best equipped to interpret positively.
Great. So let's recap the big points. We've covered the basics of Duolingo's Read Aloud task 5. We dug into why that even tempo is so crucial because of the algorithm grading it. We looked at how the sentences scale up in difficulty from simple to pretty complex compound ones.
Yeah, those levels.
And we touched on those subtle but, well, quite important rules about intonation, how it rises for yes-no questions, falls for way questions, and stays pretty neutral for statements.
That sums it up well. And the real point for you listening is to try and apply this knowledge. Understanding these sort of behind-the-scenes rules can genuinely make a difference in your performance. It's really about more than just reading words off a screen. It's about showing clear, natural, effective English communication.
Absolutely. And it really makes you think, doesn't it?
How so?
How even something that seems as simple as reading aloud is actually, well, it's a complex performance shaped by these unseen algorithms and these subtle language rules that most of the time we just follow without even realizing it.
That's a fascinating point.
It makes you wonder what other everyday things we do, communication acts, are structured just like that by hidden rules we barely notice. Something to think about.